Alright, everybody, how are we doing today? Final story for today. This one's a little more lighthearted. So this is about the impeachment of Donald Trump. Is collusion still a thing? Washington Post publishing illustrated Mueller report book. Oh boy, here we go. Well, at least WAPO's better than New York Times, but not by much. This is from Ruptly, and it says, haven't got enough Russiagate already? Need the ideal Christmas gift for the unsatisfied Democrat in your life? Well, how about a copy of the Mueller report, soon available in graphic novel form? Special counsel Robert Mueller's 2-year probe found no evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia in the run-up to the 2016 election, and insufficient evidence that Trump obstructed the investigation itself. Though Trump declared case closed, the mainstream media that banked on Mueller so heavily isn't quite ready to let it go yet. Case in point, the Mueller Report Illustrated, a graphic novel by Washington Post political journalists. These people are not journalists, they are activists. There is a huge difference. Due for release in December, perfectly timed for #resistance gift giving, no doubt the comic focuses specifically on the second half of Mueller's report, the half that outlined 10 potential cases of obstruction that Mueller lacked evidence to pursue. Its writers evidently weren't happy with Mueller's reticence. However, with Post editor Martin Barron explaining that the comic will allow the public to arrive at its own conclusions, a digital version will include bonus graphics and animations to bring 400 pages of otherwise dull investigative text to life. I'm going to buy one and read it just for a laugh, because it's probably going to be absolutely hilarious. In the sense that it'll be hilariously bad. It'll be so bad it's good. Repeating the same action and hoping for a different result is supposed to be the very definition of madness, according to Einstein, who was not a psychologist, by the by. Despite the best effort of cable news hosts and congressional Democrats to talk it up, Mueller's report has been a dud, and his 5 hours testimony before Congress in July capped off Russiagate as a total disaster. A poll taken this summer found that 3/4 of Americans didn't change their opinions of Trump after the release of Mueller's report. The report didn't shift the needle towards impeachment for most Americans, and the Trump's approval figures were unaffected by its publication. That hasn't stopped the likes of the Post from keeping the Russian collusion story on life support. Readers can at least be thankful that the Mueller Report Illustrated won't portray Mueller as an oiled-up, shirtless superhero like an ill-advised children's book by your #resistance superstars, the Krasenstein brothers, actually did. And they say conspiracy theories are purely the realm of right-wingers. Then what the hell do you call this shit? There are leftist conspiracy theorists. Now let's just take a look at some of the photos of the actual comic book. This should be interesting. I'll even do voices just for the hell of it. It should be fun. You were supposed to protect me! This Russia thing is far from over. I want to kill the story. You will always get honesty from me. Will be taken care of. So far, the overall look of it is... it's black and white with a little bit of color. It's accurate portraits of the people, but it is highly speculative. It is pure speculation at its finest. I mean, what even is this shit? Oh my god. No. There are left-wingers who are conspiracy theorists. It's not just a conservative thing. That is a lie. That is a lie! You have conspiracy theories too! You're tearing us apart, Congress! But, from Reason, impeachment depositions cast light on a State Department driven by devotion to Trump. This is the other side of the debate that should be considered. Yes, is the impeachment narrative stupid? Fuck yeah, it's stupid. But is blind Trump support really the best thing right now? No. So it goes on to say, let me just say that I think that American elections should be for Americans to decide, said Mary Yovanovitch. On Monday, House Democrats made public the first 2 transcripts from their closed-door impeachment inquiry hearings, shedding light on the rank partisanship besieging the State Department, driven by the desire to not cross President Donald Trump. Mary Yovanovitch, the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, described an environment where she faced bogus criticisms from Trump allies, leading to her abrupt removal in May. She characterized accusations that she is disloyal to the president as fictitious. Yet those in the president's circle, including Rudy Giuliani, his personal lawyer, encouraged Trump to remove Yovanovitch for refusing to pressure leaders in Kiev to investigate former President Joe Biden and his family. Trump is now the subject of an impeachment probe amid allegations that he froze congressionally authorized military aid to Ukraine in order to push President Volodymyr Zelensky to dig up dirt on Biden, who is a front-runner in the 2020 presidential election. As conspiracies swirled that Yovanovitch was trash-talking Trump, Gordon Sondland, a Trump donor who became the ambassador to the European Union, allegedly told her to tweet out there you support the president so he could retain her post. It was advice that I did not see how I could implement in my role as an ambassador and as a foreign service officer. But while Yovanovitch, who has served in 4 Republican and 2 Democratic administrations, attempted to maintain a sense of partisan neutrality, the State Department declined to show her support for fear of how Trump might respond. Michael McKinley, a former aide to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, testified that he urged the secretary to come to Yovanovitch's defense as the president and his allies continue to publicly denigrate her. Like I said, the other side of the impeachment debate is almost as crazy as the Democrats. No, there's no grounds by which they can honestly impeach the man. However, the behavior of himself and many of his supporters is, quite frankly, it's just plain old-fashioned harassment, and that's really not an acceptable behavior for a president or for a cabinet. That's crossing the line, my dude. Pompeo refused on 3 separate occasions, according to McKinley. Yovanovitch says that in February, a Ukrainian official told her that she should be wary of Giuliani and that she needed to watch her back. In May, the ambassador received a phone call from Carol Perez, the Director General of the Foreign Service, telling her that she needed to be on the next plane home to Washington. It was about her security, she said. And on that much-discussed phone call 2 months later, Trump would go on to tell Zelensky that Yovanovitch is going to go through some things. She informed investigators that she felt threatened by the remark and that she is still very concerned. But beneath her partisan removal, both Yovanovitch and McKinley expressed some sense of incredulity that Giuliani and related Trump associates sought Ukraine's help in probing Biden and his family in the first place. When asked if the move was inconsistent with U.S. interests, Yovanovitch replied that the short answer was probably yes, but the entire thing was unprecedented. Let me just say that I think the American elections should be for Americans to decide, she said. McKinley gave a more throttled response, chalking his resignation up to the overt partisanship that now cripples the federal government's operations. That was epitomized, he said, by the efforts to leverage foreign missions for political opposition research, as well as the State Department's unwillingness to help one of their own. I think the combination was a pretty good reason to decide, though, that I had no longer a useful role to play. So they bullied and harassed some poor chick. Is that really a ground for impeachment? No, it's not. Is it grounds for maybe shaming Trump for that behavior, or even filing for some kind of referendum? Sure. Put him officially on notice. Just another guy in the White House who's a really good president, but a terrible person. Go figure. Gee, that's a familiar story. Oh, I don't know. Bill Clinton? That's probably the first example I'd think of. Of course, if you want the opposite scenario, you should look at either Barack Obama or Richard Nixon. They're the absolute opposite. Terrible president, actually decent person. Surprisingly. Dick Nixon had a lot of likable qualities. He was a cool guy. He just... The way he learned politics, he thought he had to play the game dirty in order to succeed. He thought success meant playing the game dirty. It's a very diseased way to look at things, if you ask me. Very negative. But nonetheless, that's how it was. But this is not the first time that a person got into office who was a terrible human being, but a really great president. This is a familiar theme, people. The impeachment will not succeed. The Mueller report is a joke. The comic book is a joke. The left, particularly the far left, is now a joke. Has been for some time now. This is just my opinion, but I think the left really is a joke. You don't understand economics. You support people who understand economics even less than you do. You have a party full of idiots and tyrants like Beto O'Rourke. And you also have far-left extremists coming out your wazoo. Your entire end of the political spectrum needs a fucking enema. But that's just my opinion, alright? That's a little gift from me to you. Enjoy that one. But, yeah, no, he's not impeachable, but at the same time, he's not the greatest human being ever, not the greatest president ever. His foreign policy drives me completely up the wall. I'm practically pulling out my hair every time I hear something he did to some country, bullying and harassing them. Or otherwise calling them shithole countries. So, what a lovely thing to say, Mr. President. Good job. That's really holding up that positive American image. You know? You do realize that when you get in office, you're not just affecting yourself, you're literally affecting the entire country. Right? So imagine how that makes literally every last one of us look. That makes us look like shit! Plus the maximum pressure campaign, the crazy sanctions. This video is turning into an evaluation of Trump. But he just goes around bullying and harassing other countries into behaving the way he thinks they should. That's not okay. That's not diplomatic behavior. That's shit. Now, as far as his domestic policy, his economy is fantastic. He's actually done a lot for the United States economy itself. It hasn't been this good in a long time. Hell, the job market might start to improve before long. That's fantastic. I just wish that this wonderful Trump economy didn't come with such an egregious price tag of an orange flaky East Coast bully. He's like the cliche New Yorker your mama always told you about if you grew up in the Pacific Northwest, like I did. He's your classic New York bully. He's even got the cliche accent and everything. So yeah, there you go. The impeachment is a nothing burger. It's pure nonsense. But the guy's a jerk. A talented, politically gifted jerk. Anyway. Peace.